Good morning, students. Today we'll start our next chapter. But don't forget to mention your name, class, section, and roll number below in the comment section. Watch the video carefully.
This is the chart of legislature and executive. Legislature we have completed and executive we are going to start. So you please go through it. Now we would start with composition of executive. We have studied that the legislature, that is the parliament, makes laws for the whole country. But who implement these laws? It is the executive that implements the laws made by the parliament. Composition of the executive. The executive consists of the president, the vice president, and the council of ministers headed by the prime minister. First, the president. The President of India is the highest executive authority. Our constitution vests all the executive powers of the Union in him. All orders of the Union executive are issued in the name of President. He is the constitutional head of the state and represents the Republic of India. The Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, officials and experts of the civil service assist the advice the President in his or her work. Then is qualifications. To be the President of India, a person should have the following qualifications. First one is citizenship. Then he or she should not be less than 35 years of age. He or she should be qualified for becoming a member of the Lok Sabha. Then there is one technical term, impeachment. What is it? It means when a person is not performing all his duties properly, he can be removed from the office. Then there are four parts of president: judicial, legislative, executive and emergency. Let's understand them one by one. So the first power is executive power. President make appointments of different categories of people like Prime Minister, Council of Ministers, Chief Justice, Election General, Attorney General, ACG, Ambassadors, etc. Now what are the meaning of these? Attorney General means the legal lawyer or advisor to the government. CNAG is an authority established under Constitution which audits the state and central government. Then is ambassador, an important official who works in a foreign country representing his own countries. Then he is the supreme commander of defense force. He signs treaties and declares wars. Then is legislative power. First one, he summons and prorogues houses of parliament. It means summon means start and prorogue means end. Then he addresses joint sessions, means he gives a welcoming speech during the sessions of both houses. Then he can issue ordinance. Ordinance are the laws that are put into effect by the president for approval of parliament, and this is done when the parliament is not in session. Then union territories are directly governed by him. He signs the bill to become a law. This we have read when we were studying about bills. Then judicial powers. He can appoint judges of Supreme Court and High Court. Then he has power to grant pardon. Pardon means relief. And reduce the penal sentences. It means the penalties that are being imposed on a person, he can reduce it, or he can also remove. He can also reduce the death sentences that are given. Then is emergency power. First one is national emergency. It is applied in two conditions: when there is an external war, then, and second one, when the groups with weapons are approaching government and opposing the government. Then second one is president's rule. Governor is not able to work nicely, then the legislative assembly fails and it dissolves and goes to the hands of president's rule. Then the third one is financial instability. That is the economically weak. When the country becomes economically weak with the approval from parliament, this is being held by the president. There is a president rule. So these are the three emergencies: national emergency, financial crisis, and a president rule. Then Prime Minister. The Prime Minister of India is also the leader of Lok Sabha. The Prime Minister is considered to be the leader of the government. It is the Prime Minister on whose advice other ministers are appointed or dismissed by the President. So the burden of success or failure of government lies on the shoulders of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is a link between the President and the Council of Ministers. The Prime Minister is having many work to do. He is official spokesman, he is chairman of planning commission, he decides which member is to be given which department, etc. And the important thing, if he dies or resigns, the entire council is resigned. That is, whole council will again be replaced or reappointed. Then is Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers work in a close cooperation under the leadership of Prime Minister. For the sake of speedy work, the departments of central government are placed under different ministers. For example, Railway Minister looks after the working of Railway Ministry. The ministers belong to three different ranks. The highest rank is Cabinet Minister, then is Minister of States, and the lowest one is Deputy Minister. Each member looks to a department of government known as ministry. Then is principle of collective responsibility. This is an important principle. If no confidence motion is passed against any minister, then whole council has to resign. This we have talked earlier also about no confidence motion. And if one single member is doing any mistake, then it will affect the entire council. This is known as principle of collective responsibility. Then there was a debate between Nehru and Rajendra Prasad on the real powers of the president. The president exercised all the powers on the advice of the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. But prior 1976, there was no such provision in the Constitution that the President was bound to act in accordance with the advice given by the Council of Ministers. Later, the difference of opinions arose between Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Dr. Rajendra Prasad on the real powers of President. During the debates in the Constituent Assemblies, Dr. Rajendra Prasad said, "Although there is no specific provisions in the Constitution itself, making it binding on the President to accept the advice by his ministers. It is hoped that the convention under which in England the King always acted on the advice of his ministers would be established in this country also." The Prime Minister promptly sought the formal opinion of the Attorney General M.C. Setalvad, who clearly said that in a parliamentary form of government, the officer of the president is essentially that of a titular head like that of the British monarch. Later, when the 42nd and 44th Amendment Act were passed in 1976 and 1978 respectively, all such controversies came to an end. They have the provisions that the advice given by the Council of Ministers is a binding on the President of India. So, here we complete our chapter. I hope you understood it nicely.